primarily gathering and disseminating news. You have the advertising, which keeps the operation going, the advertising sales, which you have to have a vast knowledge of business and of marketing to successfully operate this department. You have to have your administrative department, then your distribution or circulation department. So now we have department heads that operate each one of those specific areas, and my job is primarily to keep everything together, keep the glue in there.
Now, as the editor and a publisher of a newspaper, what do you find to be some of the most challenging things that you have to deal with? Certainly you have to try to keep it all together, but...
Sure. Well, one of the things is we have to make sure that the paper addresses the real needs of the community. Just to put a paper out, and call it a black paper will not do. We have to make sure that everybody in that household from 16 to 64 has an interest in picking the paper up and reading it. So we have to make sure that it's strong from a comprehensive level, representing sports, business, politics, current events, and then how we fit in with the major media. We don't compete with the Tennessee and the Banner and those major mediums. What we do is fill a void. So because we don't race with them for time, we have to make sure that our stories are more complete, that they tell a deeper story, a deeper meaning. It tells why things happen, not just that they happen. And so that's the challenge editorially. And then from the business end of it, have to make sure that it pays for itself. So I have to make sure that our advertisers get their money's worth.
You know, I think we've had many opportunities to talk to people about black entrepreneurship and black business and whatnot. And I think all would admit that many companies have become involved in what is known as affirmative action, and perhaps given opportunities for newspapers like your newspaper and et cetera. Let's speak to that. I mean...
well, I'm glad you brought that up, because in Nashville, unlike other cities, especially perhaps Memphis, Birmingham, Atlanta, cities with a large percentage of the black population, in Nashville, with 23% of the population, companies really don't feel they need to be affirmative, and they get away with it. And so for that reason, what we get from an affirmative standpoint of companies trying to be socially responsible is very little. The time that we really began to grow was when I can go out and show companies that, number one, I can help you sell your products. We've made a number of changes in our publication, the last of which, the major change, came in 1988, when we decided to become a major medium in the inner city. So at this point, nobody delivers more papers to homes in the inner city than Metropolitan Times.
Now, what impact does that have upon advertisers, and why should advertisers be concerned about that?
Tremendous, because it means that they're guaranteed that they're reaching 90% of the black population in Nashville. You can't sneeze at that. This is an $800 million spending market. So if you're selling groceries, that's $242 million a year. Can you sneeze at that? If you're selling new cars, that's $154 million a year in purchases.
And so you can actually demonstrate to potential advertisers that that they're not necessarily throwing their money away when they advertise.
We have good stories. For instance, Dean's Market in the inner
Tell
city.
us some of those stories. Let's look at that.
He never would advertise with us until finally I went in and convinced him of our distribution pattern, and he decided to give us a try. He's ecstatic about it now. He wouldn't give us up for anything. So his business has increased. He's reaching his market. That is, those 10,000 homes are directly around his store, better than he ever has. And he's doing it more cost effectively than he's ever been able to do it. So with that, Volvo, there's a misnomer that black people only buy certain things, or that we have almost a homogeneous demographic community. So we can only deal with substandard products. But the Volvo dealership now, whenever they have a campaign, they include us automatically, because he said that it's demonstrated. He can tell the difference. And the number of black people coming in to buy Volvos. The Mercedes dealership, same difference. There are a number of people, especially those associated with Meharry and some at Tennessee State, who can afford to buy a Mercedes, and they're doing it. So we've managed to build our business since 1988 when we restructured, started at zero, and this year we're probably doing about $800,000 a year.
And so you've got quite a bit of, and there is a growing concern among advertisers to advertise in media such as yours.
You have to educate them. I teach a class every Wednesday to my salespeople called Media-Based Marketing Decisions. You have to go in armed with statistics, with buying patterns, with demographics, psychographics. You have to know the science of the industry nowadays to really do it. I refuse to accept giveaways because we work too hard for them. For that reason, I remember Shoney's had a set-aside program. We withdrew from it because I don't want anybody to give us anything.
And so you're working for everything that